Hello to you all. This week's lesson is Lesson 10, Sharing. And our story for the week is called Loaves and Fishes. Many people walked a great distance over the hills to see Jesus. A young girl named Anna and her mother had left their home before the sun was up. As she stood on the hill where Jesus was teaching, Anna looked all around and could see people in every direction. It was like being in a sea of people. Anna felt lucky to be close enough to see Jesus and to hear his voice clearly. Anna had never before seen eyes that held so much love. She felt her stomach growl with hunger. It had been a long day of walking. Anna looked over at the basket of food sitting next to her mother on the grass. There were fresh loaves of barley bread and 2 little fish Anna had caught in that basket. Maybe her mother would offer her dinner soon. Anna knew she shouldn't ask. That little basket was all they had until they went home again. She didn't know when that might be. As she was thinking about food, Anna suddenly realized the man called Philip was talking with Jesus about food too. Anna could hear the concern in Philip's voice as he said, "Even if we could buy bread out here somewhere, there is not enough money to feed all these people." Anna knew that was true. Jesus was poor like most of the people here. He probably didn't have enough food for himself, and he certainly couldn't take care of a huge crowd like this. Anna looked at the basket that held their dinner. There was just enough there for her mother and herself that wouldn't be any help. But Anna knew she couldn't sit and eat dinner while Jesus and all the others went hungry. She ran across the grass to her mother and grabbed the basket. Leaning close to her mother's ear, Anna urgently whispered, "Mother, Jesus needs food to feed all these hungry people. Can we please share the bread and fish you packed for us?" Her mother looked puzzled, then a bit amused. Then, smiling lovingly, she said, "Of course, give the basket to Jesus." Anna quickly carried the basket to one of Jesus' companions and boldly pulled on the man's robe to get his attention. The tall, bearded man looked down at Anna with surprise, but he smiled gently and asked, "What do you need, child?" "We want to share the food in our basket. Could you please tell Jesus that we have some food?" Anna explained eagerly. The man immediately picked up the basket and moved closer to where Jesus sat at the high point of the hill. "Master, a young girl has offered her dinner to share. There are 5 loaves and 2 fish in this basket." He announced it a bit doubtfully. Anna was suddenly a little embarrassed to hear herself mentioned. Jesus smiled when he heard what the man named Andrew said. He instructed his disciples to reassure the crowd of people and tell everyone to sit on the grass. Then he took the basket from Andrew and offered up a prayer of thanksgiving. Jesus rose from his place and looked over at Anna. Anna saw those eyes of love again and didn't feel a bit hungry. Jesus walked into the sea of people with the basket in his hand, and Anna ran back to her mother's side. After a time, the basket was passed to her mother, who took out enough bread and fish for their dinner. The basket wasn't empty, so she handed it to the man who sat nearby. Anna lost track of the basket as she gratefully ate the good bread and salty fish. She noticed that everyone around her was eating as well. As the people finished their meal, Jesus spoke to them again, and Anna listened to his strong, gentle voice while the sun began to set behind the hills. The companions piled up baskets of leftover bread and fish at their teacher's feet. Anna could count 12 baskets, all full of broken loaves of barley bread and pieces of little fish like the ones she had caught. Anna couldn't figure it out. Did Jesus feed all the people out of her basket? Did others share their food too, so there was enough to feed everyone? She decided she didn't want to think about it too hard. Her stomach was full, but her heart was even more full of happiness. Your discussion questions. Why do you think Anna shared her food, even though she had just a little? How do you think everyone got enough to eat? Why was Anna so happy at the end of the story, even though she wasn't praised for sharing? How do you think the story might have been different if Jesus and his disciples had made the people share their food? Those are some excellent questions to think about. Have a great week. I'll see you again.